see what guests we have, but we always kick off the beginning with, and I got to unfurl my little flag. We can't really do any songs, so we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll go ahead and recite it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And if we could go ahead and mute, and we'll bring the speakers back on shortly. Guests, we have our District Governor Farron Barr, and he's been talking here in the pre-session a little bit, and I'm looking around to see if we have any others. As of now, I do not see any additional guests other than our speakers, who will be introduced a little bit later. We do have a number of announcements, and I'm actually excited. We have more announcements than usual. That tells me things are starting to pick up. And the first one, but is on a sad note, and I had it in yesterday's email. You may have seen it in the paper, but our club treasurer, Deborah Rick's father, passed away, I believe it was a week ago today. And my goodness, I read his obituary, and the accomplishments he had were amazing. It was a life well lived, apparently. There will be a celebration of life tomorrow from 2:30 to 4 at the Dillon House, which is just west of the Capitol building. Wanted to give you a little update on what happened at our board meeting on Tuesday. First of all, we have tentative plans, and I emphasize tentative, but I'm still optimistic. We're going to return to in-person meetings on April 1st. So we'll have April Fool's Day as our first in-person meeting. And the intent is to go ahead and do that consistently unless things change with COVID or the county changes its guidelines. But the event center is large. We can distance, probably only 4 people per table. And so I think we can pull that off in a safe manner. Additionally, we approved the application for Steve Robinson. So he's our newest member. Wanted to let you know that we're going to start posting the board minutes on our website following approval. For instance, the meeting we had Tuesday, those minutes will be approved next month, and then they'll go on the website so people can kind of track what's going on. Also wanted to let you know that our Social Justice Committee is getting started and is taking shape. If anybody is interested in joining that committee, you can reach out to Glenda Du Bois or reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with the correct people. We have several people already on that committee. Likewise, our membership committee is looking for additional people. And to be real candid, we have not done a lot to push membership during the pandemic because we've been remote, but that's all going to change, and we're going to be at a fantastic venue starting April 1st, and hopefully consistently having meetings there every week. That's it for the board meeting. I wanted to let you know that our first, we're calling it the Rotary Rubbish Roundup, is going to happen this Saturday morning starting at 10. We're going to meet at the Rotary Pocket Park. If you're not familiar with that, that's adjacent to Constitution Hall, and it is immediately west of the downtown post office. And for a period of about an hour and a half, we'll probably wrap up around 11:30. We're going to be kind of cleaning up parts of downtown, and trash bags will be provided, but we ask that you bring masks and gloves, and we'll all get together at 10 o'clock. So let Steve Knoll know if you want to attend, so we kind of get a rough head count. Want to have you mark your calendars. We don't have all the details figured out, but we're going to have a wine tasting / fireside chat a week from today. It's going to be from about 7:30 to 8:30. It will be via Zoom. But we're going to have, Steve is going to kick it off with a little bit of information on a wine, basically a short wine tasting. And then we're going to have some feedback from our members to, help us plan for the future. RILA, which is the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy, is taking place in June. It will be both virtual and in person. Not all the details are worked out, but we just posted the application for that on the club website. So you can look to that if you want more information. Let me know. I can put you in touch with Jackie Live, and she's in charge of the whole program for our district. And RILA is for high schoolers that have completed their sophomore or junior year. Our local foundation is still accepting applications up until March 15th from local 501c3 nonprofits, but that deadline is fast approaching. And the District 5710 Foundation Banquet, Gathering for Good is the name, the theme. It is taking place on Saturday, March 20th at Prairie Band Casino. We were talking about that prior to the meeting, and there's ample room for distancing. I would encourage you to sign up. There is a virtual option, and which is free, and so you could do that, and there will be auctions to help raise fund for the district foundation. I believe that is the extent of my announcements, and I'm going to turn it over to Melissa Masoner, who is going to introduce our speakers. Actually, I think more than one, but our speakers. And I will mute myself, and Melissa, please take over.
Super. Can you hear me okay now? Loud and clear. There you go. Okay, thank you, President Stan. I'm really happy to introduce Chris Roesel, who will be introducing his colleagues as we go forward here. After living and working in 100 countries, today Chris lives in Roland Park, Kansas. Although he's not a Rotarian yet, his father was an active Rotarian for over 60 years. So he does know the culture. Chris's international work began as a Peace Corps volunteer working in Guatemala among indigenous people for a couple of years. And then on return, he earned a master's in public health and international health from Johns Hopkins, MS in nutrition, consulted for the Office of International Health of DHEW, USAID, the World Bank, and the World Public Health Association. While doing that, he researched and codified what the best health systems in the world did. With that understanding, he returned to international work, working in Asia, Africa, the Americas, and Haiti. I like to share his 4 top learnings were incorporated into his work. 1, prioritize what the people themselves are concerned about. And 2, when you promise, deliver fast. People have been getting promises for decades with no delivery. It's called building trust. 3, continually improve your methods. 4, systems produce the situation that people live in, so always look to improve the system. Today, Chris is involved in community collaborations in Kenya and Uganda with his team, which his team are going to address. You will easily see how these efforts achieve Rotary's focus in many different areas. And especially this month, Rotary International's focus is on clean water and sanitation. Take it away, Chris.
Thank you very much, Melissa. I'd like to introduce the people that I brought with me. Dr. Ebby Luvaga is a professor at Iowa State University and a noted economist, and Iowa State University's one of the calendar women professors this year. And she will give a presentation over how we've worked together in 2 villages in Kenya. My companion, Jeff Morgan, who's a proprietor of Morgan Miller Plumbers in Kansas and has always been here, but is volunteering next week in Texas to rehabilitate plumbing, and also has volunteered in Haiti, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Uganda. And Ajaga Innocent, who is the director of one of the non-government organizations that we work with in rural Uganda. With that, I will turn it over to Dr. Luvaga to give her presentation, and then I'll follow up with mine and take your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone for this opportunity. And I have a few slides that I'm going to share, and unfortunately, I will be leaving before the meeting ends because I have to be in class in about 15 minutes, and I need to walk over there. So hopefully I'll just zoom through some things here. Now, before I share my slide here, I would like, let's see. Can everyone see that? Can I get a nod from somebody?
You're on.
Okay, fantastic. What I'm going to do is just give you, like Chris said, we are working together. There is a group of us and we are still looking for a name. We call ourselves VIPs for lack of a better name because we are working on ventilated improved pit latrines in Kenya. And you can see the project members are from all over the United States, which is very exciting to have been invited to be part of this group. So the two villages we are working in are in Western Kenya. And this is kind of the outline of my very, very brief abbreviated presentation this afternoon. But what I hope you'll get out of this is that we are trying to change lives in the communities. And even though our project focuses on improved pit latrines, ventilated pit latrines, we found out that our impact goes beyond just what we are doing, working on latrines. We are changing lives in the communities in the sense of providing jobs, especially right now during COVID, people are looking for jobs, so they're very excited to have a job. And it's like Chris said, we are delivering and we are working hard and we are pushing our partners in those countries to share their experiences. In fact, we use a lot of local volunteers and also some local materials. So the presentations, here is where Kerongo and Maliki are. Both those villages are north of the equator in Western Kenya, as you can see over here, this side. And usually when we fly to Kenya, we fly into Nairobi and then we have to go and cross the equator and go to our villages. And no, it's not too hot over there. I know that usually comes up quite a bit. Both Kerongo and Maliki are primary schools, which are pre-K through 8. And usually in Kenya, the education is almost 50-50. You'll find almost the same number of girls and boys, which is very unique. In some countries, you'll find there are more boys going to school than girls, but in Kenya, it's a little bit different. And at the lower level for Kenya, school is required. So there's no choice, kids have to go to school. But what is very notable is that most parents want their kids to get a quality education. So they make sure that their kids are going to school and going even to some of the best schools, even if they cannot afford it. So here you can see what Kerongo looks like right now. And then, so this is the first project we embarked on. And you can see I have from here, we're starting from the left, you'll see some pictures of the before the project. We took pictures, and then in the middle, you'll see that is the progress. And then the final product is what is at the far right. And then again, this gives you a picture of what the structures looked like before we got in there. And that again is another view of the structures before we got in there. And don't despair. We went in there and we made a difference, and in a very, very short time. So that was another shot of it. But then work began very quickly. And we kept observing the work evolve in pictures. And we felt almost like we were part of it. And that is what technology can do for you these days. And the roof iron sheets are going up and the painting is going up. They've plastered the outside of it. And as you walk with me, you see those little petals they've built, structures that I'm sure some of you can guess what is going to be sitting on there. And this is towards the end. You can see the gutters have been put on. And these ventilated pipes are very important to our work because as you can see, there is a wire mesh at the top and they help with not only ventilation, but as flies come into the latrines, they look up and see the light and want to go up there, and then they'll be flapping their wings. And when they get tired and die, guess where they're gonna drop? Right smack into the toilet. So no spreading germs to the students. Now, this is what probably you'll find very exciting for Rotary and for us too, because there was no way students could wash their hands. So we made sure that one of the features we are providing are these units for the hand washing, to harvest rainwater from the roofs. And then this is the inside of the finished product. Remember what you saw at the very beginning? This is it now at the end. And this was the urinal you saw. This is what it looks like right now. And this is another feature that we are very, very excited about, because we want to make sure that once students wash their hands, they are not contaminating them again by touching the tap and turning it on. So this, we had one of the local person fabricate a foot pedal gadget for washing hands. So the students step on it and they kind of get excited about washing hands. Stepping on the pedal, water comes out from the big tanks, and then that is what you get right there. And you can see the girls on the right just feel like, I mean, this is the best thing they've ever seen, but our goal is they need to be washing hands. So we are excited, whatever will get them to do it. And for the young, also, you can see they're washing hands with the water that was harvested. So again, you can see from the beginning to the end, and we have some numbers there for those who are curious. Each latrine probably costs approximately, and I can see this one, we are probably looking at a close to $250, give or take. That is one unit stall. So that is Kerongo. Now let's jump on to Maliki very quickly. Maliki, same thing, look at the structures, some of the toilets that were currently there, or some are still because we are in progress. And like I said, both schools are in Western Kenya, like I showed you. And again, I apologize if I'm just rushing through this, but I could talk about this for the whole day, but I don't want to subject you to all this. And because I have to go teach, you are very lucky, so you don't have to listen to me the whole day talk about toilets. Who gets excited about toilets? So here we have the Maliki. Again, you can see from left, process through the middle, and then towards the end. This project is ongoing right now. So we had last week, we were at where we are on the far left. So again, that's the urinal, and this was the pre-project. That's what it looked like. And for this one, they demolished completely and reinforced the slab because they want to make sure that it lasts a little longer than, and the Karonga, the slab was kind of weak, and we don't want to build something, then it ends up collapsing in another year or two. So that's what they were doing. And school was in session. So students usually show up to get free entertainment. And you can see they reuse the bricks. We really encourage trying to reuse some of the materials that they get if possible. So, and this was in 2 days, we came from the slab to this particular shape, just in 2 days we were there. And then here on the far left, it was sifting sand. We have 2 men who are using a sieve, pushing back and forth so that they can get the big pebbles out for plastering. And you can see how the progress was going on day 6. They were onto roofing. I believe then they got inside to it. They were trying to frame the doors. And then this day they did the test, make sure that the ventilation is working. And how we do that, they burn probably paper or something and drop it in the toilet. And we want to make sure the smoke comes out. And they were very, very excited to see the smoke coming out of the chimney, because if the smoke doesn't come out through that chimney or the ventilated pipes, that means that it's not working properly. So we were equally excited to see that. So day 7, they were busy fitting the doors, and now work is still in progress. Just briefly here, and I'm looking at my watch here because I gotta run, but if you can look in Kenya, as we say, right now we have a crew of 4 people working, and we are paying them about an average of $52 per person per week. And that is what makes it affordable for us, and not just us. We hear from them. They tell us things. They're very happy to have a job, and they're ready to meet their timeline, and they're very excited about it. And some are telling us, and we do raise funds from ourselves and our friends, and that is how we've been able to get this project going. So with that, when I say we're changing communities, these are words from some of our partners. You can see what they're able to do with that $52 a week that we are able to give them. So again, build toilets, change the community, and provide, for the rural communities, and hope that we leave the place better and continue to they continue to prosper. So that's it. And again, see this Maliki school, you can see how the kids are washing their hands. That's why it's very important. And we are looking at all this water flowing. It's very important for us to be able to provide them with the proper sanitation in terms of clean water and touchless. So thank you so much, or asanteni sana, that is how a Kenyan would say it. And as much as I would love to stay and get your questions, but Chris and Jeff will be able to answer those questions, because we've been working together pretty much from the beginning to where we're at right now. So thank you for having me today. Now, before I leave, I just want to make sure, if I'm the host, I don't want to kick everybody out. Are we good to go, Melissa? Can I exit without ending your meeting?
Yes, you can.
Thank you, and have a wonderful meeting. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good class.
Thank you. So the next project we're working on is comparatively a private place compared to Karongo and Maliki. So we're working in Dula, Uganda, and Innocent, who's online with us right now, was there today. Dula is 12 hours north of Kampala on potholed roads, paved but potholed, except for the last 60 or so kilometers. It's 13 hours from Entebbe. The people there are Oringa people. It's a different ethnic group, a different language, but one of the national languages is English. There are 358 households, more or less 1,800 people. Half of them are under 15 years of age. Before we started, this is how people got water and where they got water from. Another water supply. I'm going to show you bathrooms. Only a quarter of the people had bathrooms like this. The others had nothing. This is a bathroom. So Innocent, who's online, yes? Innocent, who's online, did a survey of Dula the 4th of February, and all of their water supplies are contaminated. In January, 97% of them had their water supply dry up. 64% of the people walk an hour or more each time they need to get water, and they carry the water on their heads, but only the girls and women do. And a water can is roughly 42 pounds, 5 gallons. But sometimes the women carry 2. The latrines that they have, only 25% had latrines like the ones you saw. They have no hand washing facilities. In the last 2 weeks, 2/3 of their youngest children had diarrhea. 94% of the youngest children have been diagnosed with malaria. The people make an average of $2.10 a day and spend an average of about 50 cents a day treating diarrhea and malaria, preventable diseases. Organization is putting in potable water closer to them, building fly-proof ventilated pit latrines like you saw, installing hand washing, installing, decreasing the time for getting water, decreasing the money spent on treating diseases they shouldn't have, and also doubling income through microloans. We work with the people. We plan with the people. This is a meeting in Innocent went there. I wasn't able to participate this year. The people do the work. This is a soil stabilized brick machine that the women learn to make bricks that fit together like Legos out of dirt with a little bit of cement. We'll put in 4 wells like this. This is the work on building 2 of the wells done today. Innocent sent me these photos. We will build over 100 latrines with hand washing facilities. This is called a tippy tap. It's foot operated. We will treat malaria. We will have village health workers named by the community learn how to diagnose and give out packages of anti-malarials to treat malaria in a village where over 90% of the people have malaria. We'll supply micro entrepreneurs like this lady with income generating microloans. We'll come up with a maintenance plan and funding with the people, with the community, so that services continue after we leave. We do this the Rotary way. We mobilize resources with the local community, with local counterparts, with the district, with in Kansas and all over the USA. We form partnerships with organizations like Morgan Miller, with Jeff, with Ebby and the Luvaga Foundation, with SADUC that Innocent is the director of, and many other organizations as you see. We engage the community to do the work, skilled locals and professionals in the area to get it done. We invest in infrastructure and training so there will be long-term benefits. So that's what we do. We are a tiny, minuscule 501c3 non-government charity. This is Rotary's month of water, sanitation, and hygiene. This is what our Kansas charity does. Do you have questions or do you have ideas of how we might collaborate and even improve what we do? That's all I've got. Thank you.
Well, it certainly is exciting to see the progress that's been made, and it really is a dose of reality to see what challenges are. But it was a great, it was, you know, my kids used to say it was potty talk, but this is good potty talk.
Thank you. People spend over a quarter of their money treating lack of potty talk.
Chris, this is Steve. In the comments or the chat, they're asking how you got started.
How I got started in Uganda, or how I got started as an NGO, or
You can answer any of those that you want.
okay. better stop sharing the screen and go to, so I can see your, so I went to Guatemala as a Peace Corps volunteer. I was horrified by what I saw and learned. I came back and said, surely there's a way to improve this, and went to the university, got a master's in nutrition, and said, but they didn't tell me how to make a difference. So went to Johns Hopkins and got a master's of international public health, and there I learned how to do the best methods of any projects in the world. And then I got to work in Asia, Africa, South America, Central America. When I was supervising a big project, 200 communities, water, sanitation, hygiene, immunizations, nutrition in Bolivia, at the end of the project, I had my staff go out and interview people and ask them, assuming we could do anything in the world, which of course we couldn't, but assuming, what would the people most like us to do? And I expected them to say telephones or health clinics or something like that. And what the community told me, number one was water, and number two was water, drinking water and irrigation water. And I said, well, if I'm going to work with them on their priorities, I need to start my health work with water. So I worked with many NGOs and learned a few lessons, and then came to Kansas and started up a Kansas registered 501c3 to work with communities like this.
Chris, I have two quick questions. Somebody else have one? Oh. I
Go
bet
ahead.
people are curious why you're in Kansas.
A number of years ago, about 7 years ago, my wife told me, Chris, you've made choices where we lived for the last 10, 15, 20 years. It's my turn. My parents are in far west Nebraska. Our daughter is in Kansas City, Missouri. I want to live in Kansas so I can go visit both of them. And I said, yes, ma'am.
So I've got a couple more questions. Can we get a copy of your presentation? And what do you do when all the water sources are polluted?
Well, there are two sources that are never polluted. One is rainwater. And so if we have roof connection, then we can do rainwater. And then the other is we can do water filtration of streams, of rivers. Kansas City gets its water from the Missouri and Kansas River, and Water One runs it through loads of filtrations, chlorinates it, puts it through probably 8 feet of sand and gravel and charcoal filter. So what we're doing is either rainwater collection or wells. Although if you have springs in the area and you have hills, you can also do spring captation and filtration and have protected water supply.
Can you send me a copy of your PowerPoint?
We'll send PowerPoint, and I can send Dr. Luvaga's PowerPoint also if you'd like both of them.
Let's do both, please.
Good.
We had one question, what part of Bolivia had you worked in?
The first project was in 5 provinces of Bolivia, and the second project that I wrote and then transferred to Ecuador was in 4 provinces. So I got to work in 9 provinces of Bolivia. And that goes from lowlands to Potosi, which is about as high as you can get in Bolivia. So Oruro, La Paz, Potosi, Chuquisaca, Tarija, Santa Cruz. It was a great experience, delightful. Can we have a copy? What do you do in any specific area? Yeah. I was asked whether I've worked with Rotary in some of your project and some of the projects. And in Ecuador, I went to the Quito Club and tried to get Rotary involved, but my projects were too rural, and the Quito Club seemed to work close around Quito. So I didn't figure out all of the mechanisms to get Rotary involved.
So it's interesting, my oldest son is adopted from Bolivia, and I spent about 45 days in Bolivia in 1996 and then again in 2014. And I am familiar with Rotary has a pretty active water closet program in La Paz, which is of course a huge city, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of living in Bolivia for 5 years, and it has everything from very low areas in the Amazon to cities at 13, 14,000 feet altitude. Jeff, did you want to say anything before you?
Yeah, I would.
Yes, I was going to ask the question about virtual plumbing.
Melissa, you and I were talking about that, and it's coming to a town near you soon. Especially during this last freeze, we were able to talk to a lot of people just over Zoom and WhatsApp and other platforms to fix their water, to fix their emergency without having them to wait for us to be able to get there. We're also doing these projects virtually. We're project managing them from our homes, from our places of business. And we're allowing the people of the villages to do the actual work. And we've got project managers on the ground there, people that are invested in their communities there, like Innocent. And so this brings a whole new vibrancy to the communities when they know that they're doing it themselves. Yes, we're giving them a hand up by giving them a donation, but they're earning this by doing a lot of the work, doing a lot of the planning, and their buy-in is so much deeper than just a group of people coming there and building something for them and then leaving, because this is theirs, man. And they feel really empowered because we're there to help them. And yes, we believe in them, and their self-esteem gets built up. And because we can do this virtually, the sky's the limit. Chris and I spent an hour or so yesterday with a young man that's been attracted to our storytelling online that is from Nigeria. He's a 3rd-year plumber. He wants to help more of his communities. He's on the ground. We've got somebody we can trust that will get the job done. We're not just handing out a blank check to somebody and hoping that things happen. We've got control over it that way. And there's management. With Innocent, we meet with him sometimes every day, at least every week. We go over the project, what's been completed, what's not been completed, what's going well, what's not going well. And it's just brought a new level of capability for us to be able to do these projects. Chris has been doing this stuff since the 1970s. And we talk all the time about how exciting it is, and he can't believe it, how much we can get done without ever leaving. And then those costs aren't ever incurred. And instead of spending $1,200 or $1,600 on a flight, we can put another project together. It's pretty cool. I love today.
Do we have any other questions or for Chris or Jeff or?
Could I have Innocent say a word?
If he, yes, please.
Innocent, can you unmute yourself and say hello to the group and what you did today?
Yes, thank you so much, Chris, for giving me this opportunity. I'm really very excited to join this meeting to see that the rural communities who had no hope are regaining from our collaboration with you. And here in the rural area, northwestern Uganda, through the collaboration with Chris and then the teams, we are really working hard to improve the lives of the rural communities. And these current projects we are now on is in Dula village, and we have already started the project of digging the wells. So I think that is really going to change the life of the rural communities who had no hope in their life. Indeed, thank you so much for thinking about the rural community.
Thank you for your service, Innocent.
Thank you so much.
Last call for questions, comments. Well, Chris, I really appreciate what a great presentation and the fact that you're changing lives, a lot of lives in a positive way. And thank you to your colleagues for bringing your group together to give this presentation. Clean water has always been a high priority for Rotary, and excited to see what you're doing. I believe that concludes everything. Thanks again. And all I have left is next week. Looks like our program is going to be put on by the Washburn Rural High School debaters. So that'll be kind of interesting and different. And I will conclude with our modified four-way test, which is of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun and kind? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Had a good session today and look forward to seeing you on Zoom next week. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I hope to see you in person April 1st. And the question did come up. Yes, we will be doing a hybrid meeting. So if you cannot be present, we will still be doing it via Zoom. So everybody have a good day, a good week. Stay safe and stay healthy. And we'll see you soon. Thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.